Hello and welcome back to Model Grandad's garage for a look at the Plastic Soldier Company's army sprays. Last time we were here, we undertook the Dunkelgelb spray painting challenge, where we managed to undercoat 39 armoured vehicles from one can of the Plastic Soldier Company's armour spray. Today we're going to be doing the same for the infantry uniform sprays, principally British Khaki and the German Field Grey. 400ml cans are available for £8.50, that's roughly $13.75, but you'll have to source a local retailer if you live outside the UK mainland, as this product cannot be sent overseas. Each can is tastefully packaged with the colour neatly indicated below the actuator or button, which is protected by a plastic cup. Unfortunately, despite this protection, the actuator can work loose. Enter Model Grandad.
Good start.
Once again, if you want to get the most out of these cans, you'll need to be properly prepared. I spent the previous few days prepping Plastic Soldier Company's plastic British and German infantry figures, along with Battlefront's Panzer Grenadiers and Peter Fig's British and German infantry figures. We decided to try painting figures on the sprue, as well as hot gluing on lengths of timber and shorter lollipop sticks to see what worked best. It goes without saying that you are best advised to follow all relevant health and safety advice by spraying in a well-ventilated area with a face mask and latex gloves. Best results were obtained by starting in front of and finishing behind models, spraying in even passes with the nozzle 8 to 12 inches away from models resting on a raised surface. Unlike the smooth surfaces of armoured vehicles, 15mm figures have a significantly more complicated surface area, and this poses a distinct challenge when using an aerosol. On sprue-mounted plastic infantry in low relief, we found that short bursts were the most effective. These could then be hung up to dry without difficulty. On metal figures in high relief, a slow, steady coat starting before and after figures achieved a good level of coverage on upper surfaces dependent upon how the figures were posed. After these initial coats, two problems presented themselves. The first was that the lower aspects of the figures had escaped the paint. Secondly, where figures were modelled with deep recesses, the delivery of paint through an aerosol had resulted in blowback and left patches unpainted. This was resolved through successive coats of paint delivered in lighter and shorter coats closer to the figures, made easier on either the sprue or the shorter lollipop sticks. The longer pieces of wood required greater manual dexterity, as well as a good detergent.
Mind your jacket.
And some inevitable collateral damage. Initially, I was concerned to see paint laying heavy on the figures, but with paint touch drying in around 10 to 12 minutes in cool conditions, the final finish was smooth and even. With paint applied in this manner, we were able to adequately base coat 153 Germans and 244 British figures. With 244 British figures prime, we still had about a quarter of a can of the British Khaki left, with the German Field Grey feeling just under half full. On this basis, undercoating one 15mm figure in an appropriately coloured primer came in at about 3p each and took about 90 minutes, but the actual figure is likely to be less given that we had some spray left. Not bad at all. In terms of compatibility, Plastic Soldier Company's British Khaki is very slightly darker than Vallejo's 921 English uniform. German Field Grey matches Vallejo's 830 German Field Grey, but is significantly darker than the 920 German uniform. Personally, I think this makes for an ideal primer, as my preferred style of painting is to apply one highlight layer before dipping in Army Painter. Again, Model Grandad and I were very impressed with Plastic Soldier Company's infantry sprays. Army sprays provide players with a cost-effective way of quickly base coating their infantry in a convincing primer, which should speed up the painting process. If only I'd had the Russian uniform spray 3 years and 500 figures earlier. Recommended.